welcome to Pluribus Unum's Fireside Chat. Not as good as FDR's, but hey, it's something. Now, first on the agenda, look. Pretty close, pretty close, pretty close. Just saying. And you can see why, because I wonder which video did the best for the channel. I do genuinely appreciate the fact that I've gotten a lot of support on this video for as short as, like, I mean, for I genuinely do appreciate the fact that I'm getting attention. Ooh. Comment. I don't know how to use Chat GPT, nor do I intend to learn. I don't know how to use, because I mean, that's just one thing. I genuinely don't know how to use ChatGPT. Like, is it like you just go to the site and then it just shows you? Like, because I don't know. I don't genuinely. Well, I'll just see right now. GPT. Like, is this something I have to download? Like, 'cause if it's something I have to download, I'm not gonna do this. Yeah, see, I have to log in or sign up. I'm not gonna do that. That's more better. That's more better. You have to make an account to use. This is better. You have to make an account to use ChatGPT. I do not intend to. I don't intend to do that. I'm just gonna publicly downvote him. I know you can't you can't see the dislikes anymore, but yeah, I genuinely don't like that. I'm not gonna dignify ChatGPT or anything. I ain't dignifying ChatGPT with shit. Anyways, with that being said, thanks for all the support for the latest two videos. And you might think, oh, with these two videos out, you must have already finished your 5-year thing. Clearly not, considering this is the video you're watching right now. And genuinely, I don't mind if you choose to skip, if you choose to watch the stories for this episode and then skip after that, because genuinely this episode is going to be quite the interesting one. Okay, with that out of the way, let's get right into the news. First, Chile is going to did a vote for another constitutional convention, and unfortunately, things did not do so hot. So, for those who don't know, there were actually 3 alliances. There was the Alliance for Chile, or Safe Chile, which was the center-right alliance. We had the Unity for Chile, which was the left-wing alliance, which is basically all the left-wing alliances together. The Republican Party was just an independent party that went solo, but there was also one more alliance, everything for Chile, which was the centrist alliance. Yeah, and as you can tell, things did not work so well for them. And as you can tell, things didn't go so well for the left in Chile either. The people that were once considered spearheaders for a new constitution are going to possibly be the ones that are going to try and stop the next constitution with everything in their being. And if you look at party breakdown, things still ain't so good. Okay, so, of course, Republican Party just overwhelmingly won this one for some reason. Socialist Party of Chile did big, followed by Independent Thing of Chile. Social Convergence, which is a Boric's party, did not do so hot in this. And there are a lot of parties that just did not do good at all. But here's the thing. Immediately afterwards, people were like, what's going to happen? Like, people genuinely don't know what the heck has happened. Let's look at some analysis. Chilean right-wing parties, which were opposed to major changes to the Constitution, won a 3/5 majority of the Constitutional Council's members and to freely draft a new Constitution, removing the veto option for the left-wing camp. This marked a sharp shift from the left-wing majority that freely drafted and rejected a constitutional rewrite in 2021, and may have reflected disillusionment with the government of President Gabriel Boric, whose approval rating stood under 35%. Voter apathy could be seen in the fact that roughly 21% of all ballots cast were invalid or blank. Ooh. So yeah, it seems that Boric, like, this is one of the weirdest fucking things. Boric, his biggest thing for this cycle was the constitutional referendum. But unfortunately, I'm going to guess he's from the Republican Party, obviously. Let's take a wild guess he's from that party. Yeah, what a shock. Okay, I'm just going to take a wild guess. That's probably his party. The far-right Republican Party becomes the leading political force with 34% of the vote and 23 members, giving the party veto right on amendments. President Boric's left-wing coalition garnered 28% and 16 seats, while a separate coalition of traditional right-wing parties gained 21% of the vote. Centrist parties took the remainder of the vote while failing to gain any seats. There, it said right there, the Republican Party's most voted candidate told Al Jazeera that they never wanted to replace the dictator-era constitution. It's our starting point. This process allows us to introduce new aspects to it that we believe our Constitution deserves. Party leader, Jose Antonio Cast, who lost to Boric in the 2021 general election, held a victory speech in Santiago. Today is the first day of a better future, a new start for Chile. Chile has defeated a failed government. Boric conceded, adding that the government would act as a guarantor and support requests for the new council. The government won't meddle with the process and will respect the entity's autonomy in its deliberation. According to the BBC, analysts say the new body will now face an uphill struggle to reconcile the ideas of its conservative majority with the clamor for change which triggered it in the first place. Like, that's the thing. It's like, what is going to happen? I genuinely don't know what the heck is what's going to happen next. Because, like, we had this huge thing that pushed for this new constitution to be brought into the first place. That is the sole reason Boric is president right now, and that we had this massive thing beforehand. But now, for some reason, it just ain't it. I don't know why. I really don't understand what the heck happened in Chile. Like, basically, the only conclusion is that Boric, for some, like, this is the only thing I can see. Boric put all of his eggs in the basket. Like, he put all of his eggs in the constitutional referendum. That was his biggest thing. But unfortunately, it just didn't work. Okay, let's just move on to the next story. Days ahead of vote, İnce withdraws from Turkey presidential election. I'm pretty sure that's not how you pronounce his name. İnce's withdrawal gives the opposition a possible boost as it seeks to unseat President Erdogan. In a dramatic development, one of the presidential candidates in Turkey's knife-edge presidential election has withdrawn from the race in a move expected to bolster the chances of President Recep Tayyip Erdogan's main challenger. Okay, so for some reason you guys didn't want me to talk about the Turkish election, so I guess I'm going to dedicate this part briefly to explain the upcoming Turkish presidential election. Okay, so for those who don't know, Erdogan has been a leader in Turkey for a long-ass time. Okay, he's been president since 2014, but he's been prime minister since 2003. Basically, these two are similar offices. Basically, what happened was, he was the prime minister for a while, and then he took the office of presidency. But then under his administration, he basically dismantled the office of prime minister, and then made all of its things part of the presidency. So he basically merged these two offices into one. And then due to this, there were some big shady things, because the president of Turkey is supposed to only have 2 terms, but since he did this after his first term, many people on his side of the aisle say that that guarantees that he should be able to run for a third term, which is what he is doing right now. He is running for a third term. And many people have just been generally not really that enthused with Erdogan's administration up to this point. And it looks like people may be clamoring for some form of change because there's been a lot of momentum in the National Alliance, which is basically all of the parties that have joined together to combat Erdogan. The main one being the Republican People's Party, which is basically a social democratic party that is sort of like, they're not necessarily like fully like left wing, but they definitely have elements, like for example, like numerous support in LGBTQ rights, but not the presidential candidate, I don't think. Let me see. He doesn't support LGBTQ rights, but his party does. Well, not his party, but like members of his party do. Basically, they are the party of the opposition, and basically that means anybody who opposes Erdogan joins this party, and they're broadly left-wing. There's been accusations of possible Russian interference, and as you can tell, it's been a very close race, and it looks like the opposition party might actually have a slim chance. And this is why I want to talk about it, because like they're steadily getting a very slim chance of taking over. And the only thing that many people see stands in their way are the other two candidates, İnce and Anyan. I think that's how you pronounce it. Basically, Anyan is like a right-wing opposition. As you can tell, very far right opposition. See, there you go, far right again. And İnce was sort of in the left-wing opposition, but sort of like center-ish left-wing. He's center-left, but like, more center than him. But basically, and a lot of the actual like left-wing parties, like the Workers' Party of Turkey, and what's another one? This one, the HDP, the Kurdish National Party, which is representative of like left-wing movements, they're backing him as well. People are very enthusiastic about what might happen, but unfortunately, many people are concerned about the fact that Erdogan probably just won't concede defeat, considering he's of that brand of far-right leaders that probably just won't concede defeat if things happen. We'll just have to wait and see how things pan out. I mean, I only give tepid support to this person only in the sense of getting rid of Erdogan and maybe pushing for some left-wing agendas. Like, for example, you remember that purple party that I showed you, this one? You see, their leader's actually in jail right now, so maybe get that guy out of jail. And that guy's actually supporting the opposition. With that out of the way, let's go to the next story. George Santos has finally been arrested. Oh boy.
The podium.
Quite an interesting endeavor. Let's see if they have a part I want. Okay, let's see. I'm just gonna show like a little bit of this just because it's funny.
It's over there.
Where's when he starts
talking? Of course, this as the indictment reckoning for.
When does he start talking? There he is. This is when he starts talking.
To this on live now from Fox.
All right, we made it here. Look at this. All right, so
like he's being arrested,
you all have questions,
and his first
I know you all have
very
questions. I know that everybody's been waiting for the moment for me to come out and talk to you guys. Look, this is the beginning of the ability for me to address and defend myself. We have an indictment. We have the information that the government wants to come after me on. And I'm going to comply. I've been complying throughout this entire process. I have no desire not to comply at this point. They've been gracious in there. Now I'm going to have to go and fight to defend myself. The reality is it's a witch hunt. Because it makes no sense that in 4 months, 5 months, I'm indicted.
It makes very much sense.
Joe Biden's entire family receiving deposits from nine family members receiving money from foreign destinations into their.
That fat fucking idiot. He's just like, you saw him. He was like literally like just smiling and like, you saw him. That fucking stupid
I'm
smile that he
indicted.
did.
You have Joe Biden's entire family receiving deposits from nine family members receiving money from.
Like, yeah, that's basically what happened. He's basically like, I don't even want to bother playing the full thing because it's just
Have
like
to keep fighting to deliver, to defend my.
that's just basically what he did. Like, basically, he just immediately went and like, but what about Joe Biden? It's like, who cares? Literally, who cares? Literally, who the heck cares? Like, this is about you. We're talking about you right now. Why do you keep trying to bring up other people, dude? Stop. And yeah, I think most people have basically kind of concluded that District 3 is probably going to be the first big flipping of this race. Fraud and money laundering definitely would probably... Here's basically the only thing I will say about this race. If George Santos manages to make it through the primary and the general election unscathed, then he's perfectly fine. But if he loses, which is very likely considering this is a swing seat, and also he's already going to be facing probably a decent number of Republicans that are going to try and run against him. But either way, he's pretty much he looks like he might be done. Like if he loses, then it's game over. But if he wins, then he will probably continue to be a member of Congress, because if it doesn't get you the first time, it's not going to get you a second time. Alright, so the next news story, this is an interesting one. Filibustering Nebraska State Senator Megan Hunt leaves Democratic Party. Now, at first you might think this would be bad, but in fact, quite the contrary. This is actually pretty good. See, Megan Hunt, an openly bisexual member of the Nebraska State Senate, she's helped filibuster the transphobic legislation in the House, has switched her party affiliation from Democrat to Independent. I think, if I remember correctly, it might be just nonpartisan instead of independent. But basically, here's what happened. Like, she, and alongside another one, Michelle Kavanaugh, I think is their name. Hopefully I'm remembering that right. Let me see. The story here will probably tell me what her name is. I made a story about the other one previously. Makala Kavanaugh. Same, like her and her were basically some of the leading figures in Nebraska to try and stop transphobic legislation in the state. Unfortunately, here's one of the biggest problems. Megan Hunt, and we've been seeing this a lot. Some of these deep red state Democrats have been making themselves known for large things. We have the Tennessee 3. We have Zoe Zephyr. I think it's Zooey Zephyr. And we have Megan Hunt and Makala Kavanaugh in Nebraska. But there's one big problem. The Democratic Party, Megan Hunt is the only one to call this part out, that the Democratic Party has basically been fundraising money on the efforts of all of these candidates. On every single one of them. The Democrats made a big stink about the Tennessee 3. They made a big stink about Zoe Zephyr. They made a big stink about all this transphobic legislation coming in from Nebraska. But when push comes to shove, when things are actually going to be done, the Democratic Party is not going to do anything about it. And this is her calling them out for it, because they don't fund any of these candidates. These candidates have to raise all their money in all the way down to the bare bones. These guys have no affiliation for the Democratic Party outside of party registration. And Megan Hunt said that she's sick and tired of the Democratic Party making all of this money and raising all this stuff on her hard work. She stated that they are ideologically bankrupt, which is true, and she intends to continue her fight as an independent. Now, many people might be wondering and say that this might actually be very bad, but au contraire, Nebraska is actually well known for their extremely far left. Ooh, atheist. I forgot about that. But they're very well known for their far left atheist independence. Let's see. we have our good old... What? We have our good old buddy, Ernie Chambers, long-standing Nebraska legislator from the 11th District. He very much also is in the same vein, not necessarily in her level. He's got a different upbringing politically, and definitely has some choice differences with her in other forms of upbringing. But yeah, she like Ernie Chambers and her are very much in a similar ilk of people, and I would genuinely like to see if she can continue what Ernie Chambers would fight for back in the day. Okay, so now moving on to the next story. Big controversy surrounding Rashida Tlaib and Bernie Sanders. Basically, what happened was Rashida Tlaib wanted to host something called the Nakba Day, and it was basically supposed to be something to commemorate the mass deportation of Palestinians from Israel. See, Tlaib's event commemorating the Nakba, the term translating to catastrophe that Palestinians used to refer to the establishment of the State of Israel. Well, it is not made in reference to the establishment of the State of Israel. It is made to refer to the mass... The Nakba, disaster, catastrophe, cataclysm, also known as the Palestinian catastrophe, was the destruction of Palestinian society and homeland in 1948 and the permanent displacement of the majority of Palestinian Arabs. The term is used to describe both the events of 1948 and the ongoing persecution, displacement, and occupation of the Palestinians, both in the occupied West Bank and the Gaza Strip, as well as Palestinian refugee camps throughout the region. This is what it refers to, not the establishment of the State of Israel. It is reference to this. It is a reference to this. Okay, so basically what happened is that she wanted to do this event, and then Kevin McCarthy went, I'm not going to host this anti-Semitic event in the House. And then he canceled it. And then Bernie Sanders decided, I'm going to host the event anyways. He had them hosted in the Senate. Sanders didn't personally attend. McCarthy, as House Speaker, does not have jurisdiction over Senate office buildings. A Senate source told JI that Senate committees have control over their own rooms. Cori Bush also attended the event. It was very interesting. It's just really stupid. I'm just sick and tired of this freaking thing. The Help Committee is chaired by Sanders, who has been a vocal critic of Israeli policy in the Senate. During remarks at the event, Tlaib said, everyone needs an Almu in the Senate, an Arabic word meaning uncle. So I want to welcome you to Bernie Sanders' committee room. Like, look, it's literally so fucking stupid. It's just like, look. It's like, calling the establishment of the world's only Jewish state a catastrophe is deeply offensive. That is not what it is. It is the massive destruction and displacement that was the catastrophe. Which it is. It is. Stop pretending it isn't. And that's one of the big freaking things. And I saw this really big thing where, like, it's disgraceful that Bernie Sanders allowed this event to be held in the Capitol. Real conversation needed around a path to peace, but not with groups and individuals who espouse anti-Semitism. No anti-Semitism here. No anti-Semitism. There is no anti-Semitism. Like, there is no anti-Semitism here. None of this is anti-Semitic at all. This is really stupid. I really don't get it. I mean, I do get it. They just want to purposefully mislead you. Right-wingers always love to do this. And yes, people who are supporting the State of Israel, as it is now and as it was then, is right-wing. Because they're supporting settling. They're supporting, like, settlers. They're supporting colonialism. Well, I guess I could just use the term settler colonialism, even though, like, yeah, genuinely, it's just like, I don't get it. Why? I mean, I keep saying why I don't get it, but I do get it. I understand what the point is. The point is that they're purposely trying to mislead you and lie to you about this event. And this show, and during this, it showed how very much not anti-Semitic she is. Because a lot of people would even go so far as to say that they should just uproot the Israeli settlements. And she says that she doesn't even agree with that statement. The Democratic congressman, who is a Palestinian American, made the remarks on Monday via Zoom to a group of Jewish high school students who gathered virtually to hear from Palestinians. The Jewish Telegraphic Agency obtained a recording of the Zoom call. During her appearance, one of the students asked her about the Israeli West Bank settlements, which much of the international community considers illegal. In response, the Michigan representative invoked the Nakba, a term meaning catastrophe the Palestinians used to describe the dish. They're just this one. They understand what this thing is. Some settlements have been there for so long, right? She said, and just the idea around taking families that's been their home, it's just completely uprooting, forcibly displacement. It's something that I struggle with because, like, we're doing it all over again, right? This happened during the Nakba. Tlaib immediately qualified that you can't compare the Nakba to the removal of settlements, saying that Palestinians endured more violence. It's like she understands that it's not as big, that this would be not as big as what happened in the Nakba, but she understands that this would be in a similar vein, and this isn't. And Rashida Tlaib, she's the one who is known for having a bit more of the quote-unquote crazier ideas in regards to Israel-Palestine. Basically, what's the one? What's the one? One state solution, yeah. See, she has the one of the more, like, quote-unquote crazier ideas on the Israel-Palestine situation. But, you know, she understands that this would be a big deal, and that's something that I've stated before. Like there are some people on the left that would just say, like, oh, we're just going to just end the settlements and then kick all the people off, and then we're going to force the people to come home. It's like, no, that wouldn't necessarily work, because I think that would just inevitably, it would just create the problem over again. This is just going to create a problem all over again. And some people might say, who cares? But it's like, this is just something you need to consider, and it's good to see that she understands this, and this is one of the things that would definitely prove that she is not anti-Semitic, because a lot of people who are anti-Semitic would literally just agree to just uproot Israeli settlements and then just uproot the entirety of Israel, but she doesn't even agree with that. Alright, so last story, very interesting thing. Group trying to gain official party status warned against misleading voters. Maine's Secretary of State has sent a cease and desist letter to national organization NoLabels, expressing concerns that it had confused voters who think they are signing a petition but are instead enrolling in a new party. Maine's Secretary of State has formally warned a national organization that is trying to form a new political party in all 50 states against mischaracterizing its intentions to prospective voters. Shiana Bellows sent a cease and desist letter Thursday to Nicholas Connors, director of the ballot access for the group NoLabels, expressing concerns that their efforts have confused voters who think they are merely signing a petition but are enrolling in a new party. Over the past few months, municipal clerks have received reports from numerous Maine voters who did not realize they had been enrolled in the NoLabels Party. These voters have provided similar accounts to how they came to be enrolled in the party, that they were apparently approached by NoLabels Party organizers in public places and asked to sign a petition to support the new party. These voters have further stated that NoLabels organization did not disclose, and the voters did not understand that NoLabels was asking them to change their party enrollment. In an interview Thursday morning, after she sent the letter, Bellows stated that she had asked municipal clerks to continue gathering information and shared with her office. In an event, an investigation is warranted. Her office has also sent letters to more than 6,000 voters who have signed up with the NoLabels Party since its efforts was authorized in late December. And this is literally not surprising, because this is just what the new NoLabels group does. NoLabels is known for just blatantly lying about their intentions. They're just known for blatantly lying about what they want to do. And one of the examples comes from, what's the thing? Okay, this is the Larry Hogan, 2000, the Problem Solvers Caucus, yeah. Okay, so, Mark Buchanan, where's Mark Buchanan? Mark Buchanan's story is here somewhere. Mark Buchanan. Where's the... Oh, there it is, Mark Buchanan. Mark Buchanan, former caucus member and co-chair of the Congressional Caucus, said that he was duped by NoLabels and the PSC, saying that rather than breaking gridlock, it's a fast track for special interests and lobbyists. Like, literally, what happened was the NoLabels caucus went up to Mark Buchanan, member of the Congressional Progressive Caucus, Mark Buchanan, and just flat out lied to him and said, what the Problem Solvers Caucus intends to do is that we intend to work across the aisle to try and get major issues accomplished. And he's like, that's a good idea. I genuinely want to do that. But then they just turned out to just be a stepping stone to joining special interest groups. And yeah, this is completely unsurprising whatsoever. And the fact that this is what the NoLabels Party has to do to get people to join their party shows you how morally bankrupt this party is, that they have to blatantly lie to you to get you to join with them. Like, not even other centrist parties do this. A lot of other centrist parties literally just tell you what they are, and then you would join them. Genuinely, seeing this is just perplexing. With that out of the way, I guess let's finally move on to the main topic of this video. Okay, so this one is going to be quite an interesting one, because this is going to be another one of those reaction videos. Oh boy. But this is going to be probably way worse. And this is why. Because I'm going to be watching... Ignore this. We'll ignore the thing I was up there. I'm going to be watching my worst ranked video. It has 10 views now, apparently. Even though on the thumbnail it says 9, but whatever. It used to have 8 for a long time, but I guess I click on it and I look at it for a bit, so it's like, I guess it counts. So basically, this video was the 19th episode of my podcast. So yeah, this was very early on in the YouTube career. And, oh boy, the whole point of this podcast was that I was going to tell people how I would run for political office. This one is very much a self-serving LARPy type episode. And genuinely, that's pretty much what this episode is going to be. And I guess there really is not much else for me to say except just get into it. And for this one, I'm going to watch, actually, for this one, I actually do intend to watch the full 50 minutes of this podcast, which is why I, again, implore you to look away, watch something else. This is really only if you want to see some funny cringe and me cringing at stuff, but I will probably, maybe I will skip, but I did generally just want to watch the whole thing, just because I kind of wanted to go back and reflect on the past. This is, again, supposed to be another one of those ones where I look back to the past.
Hello and welcome to Inklum
Oh, Yeti mic on the bed. Terrible, terrible. Let's just keep watching.
Hello and welcome to Inklum Fireside Chats. Not as good as FDR's, but hey, it's something. Now, this is going to be an interesting episode because I'm going to talk about what I would do if I ran for an elected office. Not just because the thumbnail says, that doesn't mean... it does mean that, because I am. 2036, be on the lookout. 2026, you should also be on the lookout, because I'll also be running for House.
Ooh, that's not going to happen.
At least I plan to.
That is not going to happen.
But that's in the future of the podcast and my life, but...
Oh, boy. I'll shoot for the stars.
Now, here's another thing. Florence is coming, so if you hear wind in the background...
Oh, yeah.
That means Florence
Hurricane
is here.
Florence.
I'm in the area where it's not going to get that much affected, so there's no need to worry. I'm going to get some wind and some rain, but I'm not going to get drained out of my house. But anyways, let's get on to the news.
I just genuinely... this was... before I had a desk, before I had a good microphone. This is so terrible.
Oh, by the way, I saw another thing. If I don't post a video on Thursday, that means Florence has knocked out my Wi-Fi. I can promise the podcast, but I can't.
Did I end up posting a video that day? Did I end up posting a video on that Thursday? I genuinely want to know. This is gonna take a while. It's a podcast. I can just put it in the background.
Can't promise the fully edited blah blah blah blah. So let's begin with a rather, actually technically the oldest story here, but I saved this because I recorded my podcast, and then like a little bit after I recorded the podcast, my last podcast, this video came out, this story came out. Bernie Sanders introduces the Bezos Act, slamming Amazon's low wages. Senator Bernie Sanders and Representative Ro Khanna introduced legislation on Thursday aimed at shaming large profitable corporations like Amazon and Walmart.
Okay, September 7th, 17th.
McMullen was born in...
So, yeah, there was no issue. Good to know.
Bezos Act would tax corporations for every dollar that their low-wage workers receive in government assistance. I say great idea. It's the best idea you can really think of. I mean, it basically tells large corporations, hey, if you don't pay your freaking fair share, you're gonna have to deal with the consequences. Here's what happens with big corporations like Amazon and Walmart. We give them money through buying their products. They, like Bezos and the Walton family, they make money and they hoard it. They pay their workers crap, and they move them to the welfare state. In fact, let me give you a little bit of experiment. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi,
I know what they're doing.
5 Mississippi, 6 Mississippi, 8 Mississippi.
Oh, this
9
doesn't work
Mississippi,
because I sped
10
it up.
Mississippi. In that 10 seconds that I just said, Jeff Bezos made more money than the average Amazon worker makes in a year. That is absurd. And then when I say, hey, maybe we should tax them and pay their fair share, they say, oh, you're such a freaking socialist. In America, we make America based on that. No. They claim that they're like, people claim that the stupid idea of a welfare queen. Like, they think that if you welfare people are just people who don't make who don't work. They just don't work and then they just move off the welfare system. No, the welfare system. Many of the people who go in the welfare system, they go because their companies pay them shit. It is just observable. Just look at in the world. Look at all the people protesting about the minimum wage. How many of them are adults? A lot of them. People think that, but if we, it's just absurd that this welfare, like pretty much Amazon and Walmart, pretty much, we're paying them welfare. I don't know if I'm wording this correctly at all, but it just, they make this much money, and then, it also bothers me about, people, there was, this video floating around about, how Ellen DeGeneres invited Bill Gates on her show to be like, can you guess how much this t-shirt costs? And then he's like, I don't know, and then he guesses it wrong. They're like, ha ha ha, it's actually worth this much money. He's like, well, really, it's worth this much money? It's like, of course he doesn't know. All he has to do is snap his fingers and he'll get whatever he wants. Bezos and Gates, and I don't even get why people defend them. They defend these people, the stereotypical Republican, that big southern redneck that lives in a trailer park. Like, yeah, these goddamn socialists, they're trying to ruin America by having the hard-working man and taking our tax dollars. Bezos and Bill Gates, yeah, they're so hardworking. They work so hard. It just takes so much time to sit there and do nothing while everyone else does your work for you. It's just absurd that we allowed this to happen. And then people are gonna look at me and be like, well, what do you expect us to do? Tax them 90%? I mean, I don't know. I mean, Bezos, I don't know how much money Bezos makes. He's the richest man in the world. Is that really it's gonna put a significant dent in his money, but is he really gonna be like, oh no, all that's gonna happen is Bezos is pretty much gonna be like, oh, now I can't afford another yacht. Ooh. It's just these rich assholes make me sick, pretty much.
The inklings
now
of a
moving
young
on to the next story.
socialist.
Obama calls Medicare for All a good idea. Former President Barack Obama on Friday called Medicare for All a good idea during a speech in Illinois where he launched his midterm campaign efforts for Democrats. Democrats aren't just running on good old ideas like a higher minimum wage. They're running on good new ideas like Medicare for All. Okay, first of all, no. Second of all, no. Third of all, no. What do all those no's mean? Let me give you an example. The first no, Democrats are not running on Medicare for All. They're not. It's not a part of their platform. As much as people try to say it is, my political science teacher keeps saying it is, it's not. It's not a part of their platform. Just because a lot of people in the party identify with something doesn't mean it's a part of their platform. There are a lot of Republicans that say that black people should get their rights revoked. That doesn't mean that it's a part of the Republican Party platform.
Yeah.
Let me explain.
It is, though.
Just because Sanders, Kana, Lee, Grijalva, Tulsi Gabbard, and, those other guys,
Tulsi
just because
Gabbard,
that fraction of the party says, we want Medicare for All, doesn't mean the entire Democratic Party is in favor of Medicare for All. In fact, a lot of them are trying to pull that same BS where they're like, oh, but we gotta move closer to the center. No, that is not how it works. And okay, next level on why that's no. It's like him calling Medicare for All a new idea. Well, no, it's not. A lot of countries have reached Medicare for All before we have. Many people in foreign governments have.
Not necessarily true. Medicare for All is different than a socialized medicine or a national health service. But I know what I'm trying to say. We all know what I'm trying to say, but
Ron and like Clement Attlee literally ran on the whole idea of a national health service. And now you may say, oh, well, maybe he means a new idea in America. Yeah, because literally no single person in the entire United States was campaigning for Medicare for All or universal health care before Bernie Sanders was. Oh, wait, except for Jesse Jackson. Oh, and Benjamin Spock. And, Henry Wallace. When was he running for Medicare for... When he was running for universal health care? 1948? But yeah, 1948, 2018. They're really so close. And another thing.
That's actually a really good subject that I actually planned to make on a video on at one point. Basically looking over the entire history of the idea of a universal healthcare system or like a single payer or whatever. Basically like where did the idea of universal healthcare come from in the United States and how long has this been in our American political lexicon? And the short answer is it's been there for a while, and it's really hard to explain the full beginnings because I think the beginnings really are like it was just something that was just sort of stumbled into the socialist platforms, but then of course you really get mainstream attention until like Teddy Roosevelt started running on it in his 1912 bid, and then it became in and out of like prominence.
Obama. You had a supermajority in the House. You had a supermajority.
I have to buck on this one. This one is a little bit of a misnomer. Is that the right terminology, misnomer? Because like it was a different kind of supermajority. It was a supermajority that wouldn't even align on the public option, so that's not necessarily true. I mean, I would have wanted him to push for it, but having it pass would be a different story.
I believe you also had a majority in the Senate. You could have passed Medicare for All when you wanted to. You could have passed a public option. You could have passed something that was actually like a legitimate good idea for a healthcare plan, but you didn't. In fact, you actually pressured. Oh, but here's another thing. Like people, like they say, like, oh well, he couldn't have because of the Blue Dog Democrats. The conservative Democrats would have been like, no. Now here's the thing. Obama could have actually,
I forgot that.
Went up to them and said, look, listen, don't vote for a single payer, and I'll make sure that they know. I'll make sure that people know who didn't vote for Medicare for All and who's to vote for when it's time for your election. Not you. Because that's the thing. That's actually something I did. Not in that way. When Obamacare was going to be passed, people like Dennis Kucinich, I believe this was about Dennis Kucinich, he was talking about, he was looking at...
That is true. That is true. What I'm about to say here, I'm pretty sure I'm going to bungle it up, but it is true what I'm going to say here. Dennis Kucinich apparently didn't want to vote for Obamacare because Obamacare didn't go far enough in his opinion, but Obama pressured him to do it because it was like, it's either this or you're getting nothing. So the Kucinich was like, yeah, I guess you're right. If I'm choosing this or nothing, then I'll have to choose this.
There was a plan, and the plan didn't include a public option, so he was kind of hesitant to pass it. I believe it was either him or Russ Feingold. But I was reading up on it, and he was like, he was concerned about not having a public option. So he was like, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't vote for this. But then Obama basically was like, look, Dennis, vote for this because I tell you to. And Dennis was like, all right, fine. So, like, if Kucinich, like, usually if it's an actual progressive thing, like, you'll get, like, Kucinich or someone to, like, actually point to your finger and be like, no, that's actually not a progressive idea. Let me, see, it's kind of why I miss Dennis Kucinich, to be honest. Like, if I could snap my fingers and bring a couple people back into Congress that are still alive, that are just not in Congress, it'd be Russ Feingold, Dennis Kucinich, Alan Grayson, and,
That's funny. Kucinich, it's funny because Kucinich, he doesn't. He's kind of cringe now because he supports RFK Jr. for president. Okay.
Oh, and I'd like to keep Keith Ellison in there. But Keith Ellison sadly won't be there anymore. In the arms of the angels. Just kidding, you're Muslim. That's why Virgil Good hated you so much. Okay, on the next topic. The next news story, per se. Democratic lawmaker launches PAC to fund candidates who support Medicare for all. Her name is Pramila Jayapal, to be exact, but there's so many lawmakers that are per, so why keep count? A Washington congresswoman is launching a PAC to fund candidates who pledge to support plans for a Medicare for all single-payer healthcare system. Pramila Jayapal announced Wednesday that Medicare for All PAC would support progressive candidates who support the system championed by Senator Bernie Sanders during his 2016 run for president, as well as the ballot initiatives in support of single-payer healthcare. American families are hurting, and public officials need to do better, because no family should be one healthcare crisis away from bankruptcy or lifetime of paying off medical debt. Insurance companies, drug manufacturers, and special interest groups have been standing in the way of real progress for too long, and it's time we fought back, Pramila Jayapal says in a press release. So, yeah. The idea is, well, both the good and the bad. Like, as long as this doesn't turn into a super PAC, things are going to be decent enough. Like, because there have been PACs before that have been run by, like, the Congressional Progressive Caucus and to put it in a bad way, the Blue Dog Democrats. Like, personally, the only PAC that I would like to use is Crowd PAC, but that's for me. But anyways, I'm for the idea of, like, how any way to get to Medicare for all or universal healthcare is good. Like, I don't care how we get to single payer healthcare, just how we get to it. Medicare for all, blah, blah, blah, blah, blah, blah, or whatever. Anyways, the next news story. Okay. Candidates don't win elections from the extremes, ex-Obama strategist says. Former Obama campaign strategist Joel Benson on Thursday warned the 2018 midterm candidates about running from the extremes. This is a centrist country. We don't live in the extremes, and you don't win elections, and you can't govern from either extreme. You need to win people from the middle and persuade them to your side in order to create a majority. Benson told on Hill.tv's Joe Concha on What America's Thinking. No.
Oh boy. That doesn't even work.
No. That's not true. That is not true at all. Oh wait, what a shock! Someone related to someone in the Obama administration lied out of their ass. Ooh. America is not a centrist country. Deal with it. Just gotta deal with it. And I will tell this to everybody that seems to think that America is not a centrist country. People think that for some reason. Like, they think, we gotta run to the extremes in the primary, but when we get to the general election, we gotta move to the middle and campaign centristly to get the magical moderates that just magically appear out of nowhere. No. That's not how it works. That is not how it works. Obama was a centrist. Clinton was a centrist. Roe was a centrist. Don't get me wrong. There's a difference between radical centrism and just plain old corporate centrism, but yeah, but that, like, if you actually look at the American people, populist left. They are just populist left. Gun control, populist left. They want gun control. Granted,
I wouldn't necessarily say that anymore.
There's no granted. What I'm advocating for and what many left-wing politicians are actively campaigning for is what the American people want. Just get the guns out of the crazies, give better funding to mental health research, and boom, that's what they want. And, oh yeah, and stricter background checks. Then, in regards to healthcare, 70% of the American people want Medicare for all. 70%. It includes Democrats, Republicans, Independents, left-wingers, right-wingers, centrists. It includes everybody. They want Medicare for all. They want it. 70% of the people. It's not even just like earlier this year, I think it was like 51 or 54%. Now it's 70%. Majority of the American people want marijuana legal. The American people is populist left. That's what they are. You just can't deny the facts. Granted, on a lot of social issues, they might be different, but at least the majority of the American people seem to have a live it, let live attitude. Like, that's really all that, like, a left-winger like me, you don't have to be socially progressive if you don't want to be. All you gotta be is, importantly, on the economic issues, and much of the American people are.
Wait, what?
Like, look at
what I say?
All you gotta be... The American people is populist left. That's what they are. You just can't deny the facts. Granted, on a lot of social issues, they might be different, but at least the majority of the American people seem to have a live it, let live attitude. Like, that's really all that, like, a left-winger like me, you don't have to be socially progressive if you don't want to be. All you gotta be is, like, that's really all that, like, a left-winger like me, you don't have to be socially progressive if you don't want to be. All you gotta be is, importantly, on the economic issues, and much of the American people are. Like, look at my mom. She...
Oh, no. I can't watch that section no more. I can't watch that section no more, dude. That one, no. I can't do that. I can't do that. Because, oh boy. Like, first of all, did I say, like, that it didn't matter if you were socially progressive? That's a lie. That's a complete lie now. But second of all this progress I must say in this one is a complete, no.
He's the most southern redneck type. Abortion is evil, da-da-da-da-da. Good Christian morals, no. You know, that kind of jazz. She talks like this. Good Christian morals, abortion is a no-no. Guess which candidate she was actively, like, kind of for in the 2016 election? Bernie Sanders.
Well,
Granted, I may have been a little bit influential in that regard, but when I showed her Sanders speeches, she was like, yes, more of that, please. And just look. All you gotta do is look, and then you'll see I'm right. It's just one of the things I'm objectively correct about. There's nothing that can actually be shown otherwise. Unless you're actively, like, looking for right-wingers. I mean, take a look at these campaigns that have been coming around the country. Win, win, win, win, win. Lose, lose. Win, win, win, win. They've been winning and losing every single day. They aren't going anywhere. American people solidly left. And it's a pretty good place to be.
I guess so. Like, you can see I'm kind of, like, going on. It's a podcast.
Okay, so next story. This is actually from foreign politics. EU approves controversial copyright directive, including the internet link tax and upload filter. Those in favor say they're fighting for content creators, but the critics say that the new laws will be catastrophic. The European Parliament has voted in favor of the copyright directive, a controversial piece of legislation intended to update online copyright laws from internet age. The directive, originally rejected by MEPs in July, followed criticism of two key provisions, Article 11 and 13, dubbed the link tax and upload filter by the critics. However, in Parliament this morning, an updated version of the directive was approved, along with amended versions of Articles 11 and 13. The final vote was 438 in favor and 226 against. 226 against. I don't really know much about this law per se. I've been hearing a lot of people say, like, it's a bad thing. People in my circle of, like, you know, people who are internet reviewers. So yeah, this probably is a bad idea, especially considering Europe is not so good with these kinds of laws. They usually, try to do some kind of...
This was a mistake!
BS about, like, oh, we gotta protect the consumers.
This was a mistake!
I'm pretty sure that they also have... I'm pretty sure that if Finecom starts showing support for this, then I'm pretty sure that they are going to be a lot of happiness, sadness, I'm I'm going to be knowing, I will truly be knowing when the online corporations like AgitPie start just praising this law. If it happens, I know that it's going to be a completely bad law. I just felt that it would be best to at least acknowledge the law. The next story. More than 150 Democrats launch a caucus to expand Social Security benefits. More than 150
Social
Democrats
Security PAC was introduced
on
this
Thursday
time.
launched a group aimed at protecting and expanding Social Security benefits. A group of progressive Democrats known as the Expand Social Security Caucus is being led by Senate co-chairs Elizabeth Warren and Bernie Sanders and House co-chairs John Larson and Debbie Dingell. Oh, and Connor Lamb. The group announced during a press conference this morning, Thursday morning, Sanders in a news press release said the caucus was aimed in part to disprove Donald Trump's recent claim that Democrats are trying to slash Social Security. At a campaign rally in Montana last week, President Trump claimed that Democrats wanted to destroy Social Security, and I'm going to save your Social Security, wrote Sanders, and a longtime advocate of expanding
Donald
Social
Trump
Security.
and the Republicans are literally trying
Meanwhile,
to
the
cut
budget
Social
Trump himself
Security.
proposed earlier this year would have cut Social Security by some of $72 billion over a 10-year period. Well, today, I, along with 17 of my Senate colleagues and more than 140 of my House colleagues, am announcing that they expand Social Security caucus to make sure that seniors can retire with dignity they deserve. I mean, I'm personally not against the Social Security caucus. I'm not against Social Security. It's a good program. FDR hit the nail on the head again. What a shock. What a shock that I say FDR hit the nail on the head. So yeah, I'm not really particularly for or against the caucus existing. Personally, I think that maybe Sanders probably should stop creating new caucuses. I mean, I'm gonna like, never mind. That I'm gonna leave that in just because I want to leave the unbridled. It's kind of like Keith Ellison and the Medicare for All caucus. It's like, well, yeah, I get you're trying to do this, but you know, kind of your ambitions might be to go somewhere else at the moment. Presidency for you, Sanders. Keith Ellison seems to want to go to Attorney General for some reason, because I guess this is a good idea for him.
I will say that is bad. That is genuinely like Keith Ellison. He was proven right, and at the end of the day, he was proven right, and he keeps getting W's.
But anyways, now this is something that's going to be interesting because there was actually 3 primaries in a row.
Oh, there were 3 primaries.
Like, one on 9/11, one on 9/12, and one at 9/13. I'm recording this way early in the morning at 9:14. So I'm going to go over, because I actually had endorsements in 2 and not in, and I didn't have an endorsement in another one, but I think it should be noteworthy mentioning certain losses. Okay, so the New Hampshire primary election.
Oh, New Hampshire.
I wasn't paying attention to the governor's race, so I don't care. I wasn't paying attention. The only race I was paying attention to was the U.S. House district.
Oh, this is Levy Sanders.
And the candidate that sadly lost was Levy Sanders. He got 1,141 votes. Now, I know what you're saying. Levy? Are you sure his name's Levy? Yeah, it's Levy. I checked. There are like millions of different people that are saying Levi, or like I thought it was Levi Sanders, because Levi makes sense. That's a name. Levy is something you do. Some people were calling him Levy Sanders, and I mean, I don't get why Levy was having some problems. He was having great endorsements from Ro Khanna, Kevin De Leon, and Bernie. Never mind, he didn't have an endorsement from him at all. I mean, granted, Bernie didn't endorse him for a legitimate reason, because he's like, I don't like dynastic politics. It's like, yeah, but I mean, let's be real. If there was a dynasty opposing with your ideology versus a dynasty that was of your opposing ideology, you'd probably want to go with the one that is your ideology. I was endorsing Levy despite the fact that a couple of other progressive news sources weren't endorsing him. Whether it be because they also didn't like dynastic politics. Personally, I don't care if you're related to someone that is also a politician or not. If you got good ideas, I'm going to endorse you. And I guess Levy got a bonus point because he wasn't running for Vermont's congressional district. That would be seeming like more of a dynastic thing, because
yeah, that's true.
The crown goes from one person to another. The next one was the Rhode Island primary. There were 2 candidates that were being endorsed by Justice Democrats, and those were Matt Brown for governor, who lost sadly, and Aaron Rugenberg, who was running for lieutenant governor. He also
Aaron Rugenberg. Aaron Rugenberg. I should mention this because you just saw when I was scrolling on Twitter. Aaron Rugenberg, he has a chance to win this time because he's running for New Hampshire's congressional seat. Not New Hampshire, Rhode Island. And he can win. And there's been some controversy surrounding him because they say he's a white savior progressive. And I say he's the only progressive running. So you really can't complain that he's a white savior when there is no other person who is coming in the race.
Who was running for lieutenant governor, he also lost. I wasn't endorsing them per se, because I found out about their race like a little too late. Because
That is true.
Like, that's the thing. I always like if I ever find out about your race a little too late, I will be like, I will endorse you if you win. And now, lastly, we've reached the last and kind of the baddest of all of them. New York. First, let's start with Attorney General. I wasn't endorsing anybody for Attorney General, but I've been hearing good things about her, so I'll give her a shout out. Zephyr Teachout, a progressive candidate who was
I wasn't
run for
endorsing Zephyr
New York governor a
Teachout.
couple times.
Sad.
I think she's run for a lot of offices in New York. She sadly lost for Attorney General. Now let's move on to Lieutenant Governor. We have Jumaine D. Williams, who also lost Lieutenant Governor. These two were actually Bernie Sanders endorsed. Believe it or not. Sanders actually openly endorsed these two candidates. Granted, it was a week before the election, but come on. You gotta give Sanders some credit for actually endorsing. Sadly, where the endorsements were not, were in the New York gubernatorial race.
Cynthia Nixon.
The New York gubernatorial race was the race that was the biggest hill to get on top of, but still a worthy hill to go on. Andrew M. Cuomo versus Cynthia Nixon. Nixon, of course, sadly lost. Larry Sharp was correct. He said in about a week she wasn't going to be in the race. So, yeah. She's technically still on the ballot as the Working Families Party ticket, and she could pull a Joe Crowley and be like, well, actually, I'm going to stay in the race, which I would. But she said that she's going to run as a... She said that if she lost, she's probably going to run a paper candidacy in, in a state or local house race. So, yeah, she's going to be not be on the website for a bit. That's the thing. If her name's still on the ballot, be on the website for a bit. That's the thing. If her name's still on the ballot, I will keep her name in the race. Said that she's going to run as which Larry Sharp has criticized, like, hey, hold on, we'll completely going to be not be on the website for a bit. That's the thing. If her name for a bit. That's the thing.
I hate this. I hate this so much.
If her name's still on the ballot, I will keep her name on the website. If not, my endorsement will completely 100% go to Howie Hawkins.
Howie, my boy.
Which Larry Sharp has criticized, like, hey, hold on, he's open to the idea of being called a communist. So? Howie Hawkins is just this quirky old man who's, got some socialist tendencies. So, yeah. Now let's move on to the political party of the day. The political party of the...
I forgot I did this. Well, for some reason, I decided to shout out a smaller political party of the day, because that was my whole point of the channel initially. Shouting out and giving support to minor parties. Boy, has that changed.
The day we have today is the American Labor Party. This party is currently non-existent, so, yeah.
Classic American Labor Party.
The American Labor Party is a political party in the U.S. established in 1936, which was active almost exclusively in the state of New York. The organization was founded by labor leaders and former members of the Socialist Party of America. The party had intended to be a parallel role to the British Labor Party, serving as an umbrella organization to unite New York Social Democrats and trade unionists who would otherwise support candidates of the Republican and Democratic primaries. Now, to say trade unionists would support Republicans is a bit absurd. We gotta remember, this is the old days. So, yeah, there probably were a couple of Republicans that could actually take a trade unionist. But anyways, it was pretty much just a bunch of socialists that wanted to support Franklin D. Roosevelt's re-election campaign in New York. For president. So they pretty much just were like, yeah, screw you, Norman. We're just going to head out and form our own party. And they pretty much just endorsed Democrats. Like, they endorsed FDR for the 3 term, like for 1996, 1936, 1930. No, 1930. No, 1936, 1940, 1944, they endorsed him. Then in 1948, they endorsed Henry A. Wallace's campaign. Then in 52, they endorsed Vincent Hallidan's election. Then in 1956, they just flat out lost. They just decided not to exist anymore. Their ideology was democratic socialism, social democracy, laborism, and, hints of socialism here and there. It was pretty much taken over by a political party called the Liberal Party of New York, which will get its own mention here. Not here, in a different podcast. So, yeah. There's a lot of more information, but I think it'd just be best to do a bit more research on your own. So, yeah.
Hey, wouldn't you guys be interested in me doing an episode on the American Labor Party? Because I neglected to mention a lot of things, mostly neglecting to mention Vito Marcantonio essentially being the sole reason that the party was prevalent for its entire lifetime. So feel free to let me know. And even if you say no, I'll probably make a video on that anyways, because I'm genuinely fascinated with the American Labor Party. Plus, I'm also running out of nationwide parties to talk about.
Now, this is an interesting topic that I'm not going to have a script really, per se.
Oh no, I don't have a script.
So, yeah, so prepare for a lot of ramblings and and well, actuallys and blah, blah, blah.
If you're still watching, I implore you to leave now.
So, the topic of the video is, of course, me running for office, which is something I want to do. I will definitely going to do it at one point in the future. Now, here's some questions that you may have. What offices would I run for? The answer: House and President. Those are the ones I truly have plans of running with, and plan on sticking with them. And like any other office, like governor or senator, those are, if I do run for them, it'll be like an afterthought. My plan is to be literally in Congress for like 5 terms, and then run for president, because then I'll be old enough.
Yeah, literally, this is such a LARPy topic. It was literally like, I will run for, like, I literally thought at the time, like, oh, I will run for the House, and then I will win, and then I'll be in there for 5 terms, and then I'll run for president. And it's like, okay, keep dreaming.
So then you can't say like, oh, you don't have experience. It's like, bitch, I do. So the next okay, so what would I like? Pretty much, I would do a lot of like I would do I would be a progressive, like Sanders, obviously, and my time there, I would definitely like here's the thing: if you say, well, wait, 5 terms, that's a long time, boy. You sure you're gonna want to do that? That's the thing. I'm gonna be like an Alan Grayson type progressive there, like cruel, mean, and will talk to you and say you're an asshole right in front of your face, even on the House floor.
Yeah, good luck with that, dude. Good luck with that. That sure will get you many, many, many terms.
And I'll make it very clear to every single person in that room. I'll be like, look, guys, you're gonna be seeing me here for 10 years. The only way that you are gonna stop me from being here for 10 years is passing this piece of legislation that will give us term limits.
That is actually an interesting... That was actually, like, completely interesting. Like, I'll be here for 10 years, and the only way you're gonna get rid of me is if you pass term limits. That is actually kind of ballsy. I have to give my past self credit for that.
Capiche? And so what are they gonna do? They'll probably try and smear me, but whatever. I don't care. So
I maintain that attitude. I genuinely don't care. Like, I genuinely don't care if I get smeared by like a big name like lefty YouTubers or whatever, or well, whoever. I really don't care at this point. I'm glad that I sort of had that mentality back then, because I remember, like, before then, I was, like, this super socially anxious, like, fucking weirdo. I still am, but, you know.
Oh. But now then, another question that you might ask is, what party would I run for?
This is gonna be an interesting one to hear.
Now, this is actually going to be the question, because this is a question I actually think about every day. Like, what would I run for? Because ideally, I would want to run with the Green Party or the
Ideally, run with the Green for Justice Party.
Justice Party or the Peace and Freedom Party or some other left-wing party that could, actually, like, bring a left-wing message to Washington.
Strange, considering there's no Peace and Freedom Party affiliate in my state, but...
Well, also getting me the whole, like, oh, I get to be the Green Party guy. Am I right? Isn't that cool? But, the Green Party barely gets on the ballot in North Carolina, so I'll be having a lot of trouble if I try to do that from the get-go. Basically, what I'm thinking is, like, I have multiple electoral strategies that I would do. One would be running for the Green Party nomination and the Democratic nomination for a House run, and basically just tell the Green Party, like, look, I'll run for both of your tickets so I can get my name out there and, endorse my candidacy and allow me to be your candidate. And when I win the Democratic nomination, I'll just say, like, well, I'll have the Green Party nominee too, so I'll just be a Green Party. So I'll be winners both times. The second thing I would do was do a Bernie Sanders-like strategy where it's kind of the same thing, except, like, I run as an independent while seeking the Democratic nomination, and then when I get the Democratic nomination, I refuse, and I either just go to the Green Party or run as a independent. So, there's that. Like, there's that way to win. Or I could just run as a Democrat and stay there as a Democrat full time, but that's boring.
That is funny. I guess I will say this. I wish... if I were to run in my home state of North Carolina, my only option would be to be a Democrat, or if anything, be a Democrat and then leave and join another, like, political group. But honestly, at this point, I wouldn't want to join the Greens. I would probably rather be an independent than being a Democrat, but, I am registered unaffiliated. I wonder if I could run as a Democrat, even if I was still registered and affiliated because of the semi-open primaries. I wonder if I could do that. If that was the case, then that'd be pretty cool, and I would be interested in running. But, I have thought about this. Like, if I were in a state like New York that did have fusion voting, I would 100% just tell people to vote for me and have me be a member of the... if I were in New York, I would 100% run as a Democrat Working Families Party candidate, and then just say I will be elected as a Working Families Party candidate. I will not be elected as a Democrat. You can vote for me on the Democratic line, but I will run as if I am a Working Families Party candidate, and I will go into Congress as a member of the Working Families Party, and I would make that very well known. Basically do what Vito Marcantonio did.
There's also the slight chance that I just run with the Green Party altogether. Now, here's the thing about me. If I ran for office, I would aggressively campaign. Like, especially if I was running as the Green Party candidate, I would be putting posters everywhere personally. I would be handing out business cards, putting ads in the newspapers, aggressively campaigning on CrowdPack, and trying to get money from small people. Because, David Price said he's going to be getting a ton of money from the Democratic establishment.
This was back when David Price was still in Congress.
Aggressively campaigning, very difficult. I plan on getting literal soapboxes, standing up in the middle of crowded areas, and just proselytizing them, just to be like, I am running for the Green Party nomination for your House seat. Just do that. I literally, I will walk past the store, and then I'll see, a megaphone and be like, should I get this now, or should I get this in, 2025 when I'm old enough to run for the House? So then I will also actively try to seek endorsements from big people, if Jill's, not to be bleak, but if Jill Stein's still alive, or Ralph Nader even, I'm gonna be calling them and be like, yo, guys, we need your help. campaign for me in North Carolina 4th District. Please.
I don't even live in the 4th district
It might not
anymore.
even be the 4th District. It might be whatever district I'm districted in. Currently it's the 4th District, so... But there's a slight chance that might be turning into the 13th District. It happens a lot. I'll also just aggressively be going to online media to get my name out there. Just go. Just keep... And, like, because that's another thing. The only thing I could be better at than the actual office holder, like the ticket, the only job that I could foresee myself having in the, presidential or, like, with running for office would just be me being the campaign manager, getting your name out there. I would be like Farheen Hakim in the Roseanne for President movie, doing all the work.
Yeah, if you've seen the Roseanne Barr movie, Roseanne for President, then you would know that Roseanne Barr in her presidential campaign, like Farheen Hakim, she was literally the one person who was absolutely, the one person who was putting the most effort into that campaign.
Like,
she deserves way more credit.
John Wolfe, when I interviewed him, he told me, like, campaigning is more fun. The campaigning is fun, and he likes doing it. I guarantee you that even if I don't win, I'll just be a perennial candidate. I'll just be running all the time. And, I told people before this, but this is the parties that I would go and call up and see if I could at least get their endorsement. Green Party, Justice Party, Pirate Party, Working Families Party, National Atheist Party, Legal Marijuana Now Party, Party of Reason and Progress, Peace and Freedom Party, even the Socialist Party, because they actually have a place here in North Carolina.
That is true.
And I would just, I even have, like, a 5-plank platform. I want to design a logo, because I don't know how to do, Photoshop, so I can design a logo pretty decently. And it would be like
Debatable.
a hand reaching out, and each of the 5 fingers would have, like, one thing of my platform. And my platform would be very simple. Get out your hand right now, and you'll see how it would look. You can envision it on your hand while I say it.
Okay.
1, these are my 5 planks of my platform.
Just get to it,
The
dude.
5 things I would be campaigning the hardest on. 1, enacting universal single-payer Medicare for all ASAP. 2, ending the war on drugs and legalizing marijuana. 3, combating climate change now. 4, ending every single armed conflict that the United States is currently involved in. And 5, fixing our broken electoral system in any way possible, paper ballots or anything.
Those are 5 things that definitely still do remain in the top 5 issues for me.
Of course, these would be rather vague. It'd probably be like Medicare for all and, like legalizing weed or something like that. No. That part isn't necessary to know right now. Those are just like the 5 planks of my platform. I know for a fact Jesse Ventura agrees with 4 of those already. So if Jesse Ventura's still alive, I'll probably be getting his endorsement. Now, of course,
I don't like Jesse Ventura
there's
anymore.
only one problem that I foresee myself in. I'm actually technically really good at, like, talking and debating, at least how I've been practicing. But
I don't know if this is because of, like, my high school at the time. I think that's why.
I've never really had a chance to, and I don't think in a congressional race I would have the chance to, because they don't debate. They actually don't. I looked it up. It's not legally required for them to debate. At least not how I've seen them. I haven't seen a single debate for David Price that wasn't organized by some small group for YouTube views. I'd be challenging my contenders to a debate all the time. I'd be holding rallies with my libertarian ally to get our names out there. And that's the thing about if you run as a third-party candidate, you immediately become friends with every single other third-party candidate, even if you disagree with them politically, because you're all trying to get the common goal. Get your name on the ballot so that you can take down the Republican and the Democrat. Now, another thing, this is a slight tangent, but like again, how would I do in there? I even have plans of getting joining a couple of caucuses, obviously. Congressional Progressive Caucus, Congressional Free Thought Caucus, Congressional Cannabis Caucus, Blue Collar Caucus, No Patent Caucus, Medicare for All Caucus, Climate Solutions Caucus, and I even have plans of creating 2 more caucuses, a third-party caucus, which would be a caucus of third-party candidates, and a Solidarity Caucus. which is a union caucus, like a caucus for unions and union workers. The first one I don't think would get much traction because, you know, there's a slight chance I might even be the only third party in the thing. Although I doubt it. I think Kenneth Mejia and Rodolfo Cortes Bergan, at least Kenneth Mejia, will probably be getting to Congress as the first Green before I am, which will stink kind of.
I had such high hopes for Kenneth Mejia. It was like, wait a couple of years, Kenneth Mejia will win something. Just not what you expect. And not what the party you expect.
I kind of want to be the first Green Party in the House.
I still could be.
I really don't care. As long as the ideas are getting out there, I don't care who says it. Now, another thing is, personally, and there's actually something funny. I think, due to the fact that I would be a Green in Congress, like, this is just play imaginary land, but I guarantee you that I would get a lot of people thinking that I'm gonna be a swing vote for some reason. Like even though I'd caucus with the Democrats, technically, because, you know, you gotta do that, because I can't form a Green Party caucus on my own. So
you could.
They would. I think the Greens might actually, not the Greens, the Democrats might think I'm a bit of a swing vote, so they might try to get me like, you know, just to clear your loyalty to the Democratic Party, and maybe we can. I'm like, nah. So the next, another thing that would happen is Speaker of the House. This is a small tidbit, but Speaker of the House elections, who'd I vote for? Like, let's say I was in Congress right now. Would I vote for Nancy Pelosi? No, of course not. But the thing is, my vote would go to someone else. It could be me. I might vote for myself. But there's also the chance that I would probably vote for a progressive challenger. You know, like, maybe I'd pick Raul Grijalva. Or maybe I'd pick Rokana. Barbara Lee. Like, I will kind of do, like, dickish things to the Democratic Party, just to be, like, a little bit of a, you know, bit of a dick to them. And I'd be, like, truly like an Alan Grayson to them. Like, I would look at their establishment right in the eyes and just, I even expect, like, if I am the Green who's running for Congress, I might expect people to be like, you know, you're a spoiler, you should drop out of the race. And I could be like, and I would legitimately tell them straight up, like, but I heard about this big spoiler. His name is, he's the Democratic challenger. He just keeps thinking that he just keeps trying to steal all these votes away from me. You know, he's going to drop out of the race. So, I believe that's I could, like, hit back hard. Especially considering I'm kind of a shy person in real life. I would just completely do a 180 when it comes to me being in political power. Be big, be dickish to them. And another thing is, I forgot to mention this, but slogans and phrases. These are some slogans and phrases. I think this might actually be how I ended out. Because getting to a point where I can stop here. But these are some slogans and phrases that I would definitely like see myself, you know, having. Of the people, by the people, and for the people. The revolution continues. Can't be bought. E Pluribus Unum. And make America better than it ever was. Sorry I didn't get to talk much about presidential runs. My throat's starting to hurt really bad, and I don't want to stop to drink water or soda because I don't have water. I mean, I have water, but, you know, gotta save that for Florence. So, thanks for watching this video. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click that bell to be notified when the future video might comes out. And if you're interested in more political content from me, you can go to my social media pages, like Facebook, Twitter, and Quora, or go to my website. What offices do you think I should run? And if you could see me as a viable running mate to anybody, who would it be? Leave a comment in the comments.
That was one of the brief. And that's sadder. It's sadder that this got nothing. This video got no comments, no views, no likes, no dislikes, no nothing. Dude, no nothing. But yeah, I honestly can see why this one was skipped over. It literally was just a self-LARPy episode that really served no purpose. Much like how this one is kind of a thing. And before any of you wonder, no, do not go watch this video. I do not want any of you to go watch this video. In fact, like, very much so, do not watch this video. Don't give it likes. Don't give it comments. Don't do anything. I want to close this out with it having just barely double-digit views. I want it to remain my least watched video because I think it's funny. I think it's funny just having that as my least watched video. I genuinely just like that. I think that's hilarious. Having a least watched video is just funny to me. And I do genuinely think that this one is the perfect episode to be the least watched. So anyways, I guess that's all I could say. Thanks for watching this video. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and click the bell so you know when a future video when it comes out. And for some more content from me, you can go on our website, follow me on Twitter, join my Discord, or consider supporting me on Patreon.